how important these jobs are. Now, we're here to talk about a very important issue, and that is what happens in Washington and what we can do about it. The lesson from what happens in Washington is twofold. First, that we can never risk default again. There's serious consequences to the country. And no one should stay in their corner and say, it's only my way or default, because that's bad for the country. The second lesson is that Congress has to come back from the summer break and focus on three issues: jobs, jobs, and jobs. That is the key. Getting the economy growing again, creating jobs is extremely important. And to do that, we have to make sure that employers like Mr. Giovanni, and Sarah, are not burdened by job-killing taxes, but that's just what's happening. Unfortunately, because Congress, because of this fighting, didn't renew the provision that said that unemployment insurance should not be that when you need money for unemployment insurance, the federal government will not charge interest. There is going to be a job-killing tax of about $20 on every employer Mr. Sarah has. Mr. Sarah was actually shocked. He got this bill from his accountant saying that he had to pay $939 extra to unemployment insurance. Why is that? Let me explain. In 2009, because of the recession, there were large numbers of New Yorkers who were unemployed, who weren't unemployed before, and fewer workers. So New York's unemployment fund was in trouble, as was the unemployment funds of most states. In 2009, Congress got together and said, we will not charge interest and lend the states money so they could pay unemployment insurance. Unfortunately, because of the fighting that went on this July, that was not renewed. And so now, New York businesses, small, medium, and large, are going to have to pay over $95 million in a job-killing tax, about $20 per employee, to pay that interest on the money the federal government is lending them to pay unemployment insurance. That has two bad causes. Number one, it costs a hardworking employer extra money. But number two, and this is just as important, it says to employers, you better pull back, because they're not going to know what Washington's going to hit them with next. This came like a bolt out of the blue. And many, many employers are going to say to themselves, why should I expand? Why should I grow? Why should I hire that next employee? Why should I buy that new machine? If Washington may do something else to me that might even be worse than this. And so we have to stop this job-killing tax, and right here in Utica, I am announcing that I am introducing legislation to continue the federal government not charging interest as it gives the states the money to help pay unemployment insurance. And I'm doing it retroactively so companies like this one can get the money they paid in back. USA Sewing can get the money that it paid back. And I want to say one other thing. It's particularly important here at U.S. Sewing because they are competing for a contract for these types of Kevlar gloves for the U.S. Army. I'm going to do everything I can legally and ethically to help USA Sewing get that contract. There are some constraints on what I'm allowed to do, but by understanding those constraints, I'm going to go to bat for this company, because the number of employees could go up considerably if you get the contract, right, Mr. Sarah? It could go up to a couple of hundred employees rather than about 75 you have now, right? Easily. There are other people competing. Obviously, the best price is going to win, but USA Sewing makes a great product. We want to make sure that that product It's made here in Utica. This is what these are all the parts of the Kevlar glove, right? People can see it. So it's a complicated product, and the people laboring behind us are making sure that that is that product is put together. It all goes into creating this. You do this, you make this, right? Got your photos for that? Okay. So, bottom line, we have to focus on jobs. Bottom line, we got to get rid of these job-killing taxes and ensure employers, small, medium, and large, that Washington is on their side as they create jobs. And third, here locally, here in Utica, we're going to do everything we can within the law, and there are constraints, to help USA get the contract, which I believe they will serve the Army extremely well, getting these Kevlar gloves made here in Utica.
Okay. What needs to happen for it to be enacted?
Can't hear you.
What needs to happen for it to be enacted?
Okay. It has to be, what we're asking is, and that's a great question, we're asking the super committee, which has been put together and reports on November 23rd, to put this in their proposal. And then it gets an up or down vote in Congress, and on my guess it would pass overwhelmingly. We have other states, I think there are 34 other states in the same position as New York. So you have a lot of senators who are trying to get this done.
So you don't expect any significant opposition?
There's always opposition, and of course what got in the way last time was not the specific opposition to this proposal, but the fighting between Democrats and Republicans on the Hill. And that ought to end, and we ought to be working in a bipartisan way.